Uh, Hello, folks. Hope everyone's doing okay this evening. I am exhausted. Today's just been a whole thing. Uh Hey Joel, hey 255, Coyote, Ms. Wicked Wolf, Trista. You know, I honestly thought the difficult day was going to be yesterday when I planned out, shot, and edited the J.K. Rowling video in a day. I thought yesterday was going to be the hard day. Not that yesterday was easy, but I don't know why I keep forgetting what a nightmare the comment moderation is when I talk about that kind of stuff. Oh God, today has been so draining. I gotta look into getting comment moderators because I don't really have any at present. I mean, I used to not have any because there wasn't really a way to give someone mod ability over comments without giving them access to your entire account, which I'm not comfortable doing. But I think that's changed. I gotta look into that. Anyway. Hey, Meg. It's good to see you. Being still here and alive is a lovely, lovely thing. Girl, I'm so stoked to be on a panel with you at Galley this weekend. I'm not gonna lie, Therese. I'm slightly nervous about that. I've never moderated a panel before. I've been on con panels. I haven't moderated one before, and I am nervous. Like if the whole thing derails, it's gonna be hard for it to not look like it's my fault. Seems like everyone's exhausted. I feel like gas because of rain coming through where I am. Oh, sorry to hear that, Coyote. Comment moderators sound like a good thing. They do. Although, like, the thing is, I can't just assign people. That's going to have its own onboarding thing because I got to be sure that people are on the same page as me in terms of what you leave, what you delete, and what you ban people for. So tonight's drinky is amber woodchuck hard cider, which is my go-to. Though this is the last one I've got in the fridge. Just started re-binging Schitt's Creek after the passing of Catherine O'Hara. Not ready for the rest of 2026. Yeah. I actually never got around to finishing that. It was something that I was watching with a former partner. But we broke up, and it's not like I didn't like this. It's not like I was only watching the show because I was with that person. But like it was like one of those things we did together, and I haven't circled back onto it since then. So I haven't seen the whole thing of that. What Docu Who things are y'all going to discuss at the panel I won't be at? Well, it is a panel about the diversity on the show. So that'll be interesting. Cider, one of the few forms of alcohol I actually like. Yeah, cider. Cider is my general go-to. And once hard ciders, and I don't know if this is true globally, but at least in New England, once they started being common enough that you could count on most bars to have at least one hard cider on as an option, if not on tap, then I was much more willing to go to bars. Because otherwise it's like, I hate beer, and I don't feel like drinking hard alcohol. And it would just be, it would just be a mess. Uh, Anyone with managing one can filter comments now. I think any wrench can kill comments on the fly. I'm gonna need to look into it context because I don't have that many mods set in the first place. Well, Barrowman's not coming to Gallifrey 1. Oh, Elizabeth Chris, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it greatly. Is there a super chat amount that would make it worth it for you to get HBO long enough to watch Heated Rivalry? See, if I was a less scrupulous person, I could name you a number. I'm not going to do that, though. What I will say is I have begun watching Heated Rivalry with my boyfriend, and yeah, there will probably be a main channel video eventually down the line on that. At minimum, a break room video, but they're like, with the stuff that I'm getting from it, I'm like, I feel like this is a main channel video. But like, I'm not promising when, because like I said, it's something I'm watching with another person, so I'm not binging it on my own. So I'm not giving anybody a timeline on that, but I have started watching Heated Rivalry. British person here, all cider over here is hard cider. Yeah, see, that's not the case in New England because, like, apple cider is such a staple, especially in the fall around here. Non-alcoholic apple cider, I mean. Have you seen Class yet? I still haven't. It's on the commission docket for me to look at the first 2 episodes, and I should have gotten to it a while ago, and unfortunately at this point, it's like you have to buy the season on digital, or get it in physical. It might be available that way too, but like it's not currently streaming in the US that I could find. So that's stalled me on getting to that, but I haven't gotten around to it. Thatcher's Gold Cider is really good. I'm not sure I could drink anything with Thatcher's name on it, even if it's not that Thatcher. Sorry. Considering I was an alcoholic for years, I like surprisingly few drinks, basically just vodka mixed with fruit juice and cider. Sorry, vodka was like the first stuff I started drinking in college. And it was cheap vodka at that. It tastes like gasoline. Nope. As a mixer, maybe. I do not care for vodka at this point. I've been thinking about checking out Babylon 5. A few friends of mine said that it has a Farscape-esque feel to it, which I love the hell out of that show. Look, I love Farscape and I love Babylon 5. The only extent to which I would compare it to Farscape is in how much it digs into some of the alien races, and that they are, that they don't feel like Star Trek races. Like the individual species maybe feel a little bit more Farscape-y, but the overall feel of the show I would not compare to Farscape. Farscape is wild adventures out in space. Babylon 5 is diplomatic crises on a station. I would not overly compare the two. And I say that as someone who loves both. The pub has Devon Red at the moment. Don't know what that is. That's flat and very good. Your vision goes weird when you stand up. Weston cider is good though. See, like cider really does feel like such a regional thing. It varies wildly. Like especially in Vermont, we have a lot of cideries. Like Woodchuck is based out of Vermont. There's Stowe cider. There's Citizen cider. There's There's a few others. With like this, we we're well served around here. The less one can taste the alcohol, the better. I like Bloody Caesars. I don't know what that is. See, it just shows you, like, I don't drink very often anymore. And I definitely don't go out and drink hardly at all. Been showing a friend through Christopher Guest films because they feature some of Catherine O'Hara's finest work. Those are fun. What's the difference between Farscape aliens and Star Trek aliens? Outlandishness, mostly. The, like, Star Trek aliens are people in costumes, usually either painted a non-human color or with weird foreheads. And like they act a little strange. Farscape aliens look preposterous and act insane. So Babylon 5 is compared more to Deep Space Nine. Well, yeah, structurally they have almost the exact same starting setup. Although I've never seen Deep Space Nine, so I don't know how divergent they are overall. Wonder what it would take to make a series of the Ringworld books. I don't know those books well enough to be able to say. Might make my YouTube debut with my own spicy Doctor Who take. That's one way to start. I had the DVD box set of Babylon 5, all 5 seasons, and I had the spin-off series Crusade. I've seen all of it. Babylon 5 is great. Crusade could have been good. It doesn't quite pull together, especially because like there was a bunch of nonsense that went on behind the scenes. Shaftesbury Ciders MVT. That's true. Thank you, Meg. I knew I was forgetting some. I knew there were more than I mentioned. I just wasn't thinking them. Bloody Caesar is a Bloody Mary only with clamato instead of tomato juice. Ugh. Nope. Nope. You can have it. Nope. I don't like Bloody Marys either. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Ugh. I saw someone put out a rolling video where they had a clickbait title and repeated all the stuff. Then in like the last 20 seconds explained he probably had no knowledge. Yeah, that's exhausting. She probably had no knowledge. Yeah, I got what you mean. Yeah, like clickbait is a fine line, like especially when it comes to titles. Like you do need to title it something that's going to get people's attention on you. Otherwise, like what was the point of even doing it? But like there are degrees of taking that it's just like, what the hell, man? There's going to be a Blake 7 reboot. I heard that. And actually, Jason Haig-Ellery, who's one of the folks involved with that, he'll be at Gallifrey 1. I've talked with him a few times. I got to remember to say hi and tell him congrats on that moving forward. Getting drunk? No. Like it is hard cider, but it's not that hard. So no, I have no intentions of getting drunk. And besides which, I'm so tired. Like partially that's physically, but it's also like just my brain wants to check out so badly right now. And the actors are all great. Even the female leads were really good and used well. Delenn and Ivanova, Londo, Jakar. Yeah, like Babylon 5 is a really great cast. I don't like if I have a major writing issue with Babylon 5, other than the telepath plot line in season 5, which doesn't work. But other than that, like my main thing, and this was a recurrent thing when Jesse and I covered it on the podcast, is that I'm not going to say the show can't be successfully funny, but it's funny when the characters, through the nature of how they are, do or say something that is humorous. What grates is when it's very obvious a scene was orchestrated and manufactured to be the funny scene. The term that Jesse and I came up for that was comedy. It's just such a harsh wind up, and those scenes almost never worked for me, and it's a recurrent issue with that show. I love that show. I love that show, but but and also, like, I suppose I should thank that show for helping me narrow down my issues with a lot of romantic subplots. It helped me really solidify the fact that it's not romance that I usually dislike, it's courting. Courting storylines rarely work for me. Not gonna say never, but I'm gonna say rarely. Remember how they dedicated a story to explain in universe why the aliens just have different foreheads thing existed in Trek and TNG? I much prefer because budgets and it can be charming. Yeah, it's one of those things that I think did not need an in-universe explanation. Like to even ask why do the aliens just look human with different foreheads is just such a pedantic question, and like that kind of capitulating to those kinds of questions, comments, and or feedback kind of annoys me on principle. Um, that having been said, like there's some I can't remember if a flat out explanation is given in Farscape for why the peacekeepers look human. Oh, sorry, the Sebaceans. Peacekeeper is the government body. That's not the species. But why the Sebaceans look like humans. But I do remember very clearly there being some great scenes, especially early on, just wringing great emotional drama out of the fact that they did look the same. Like there's a scene with Crace, who's been hunting Crichton since he first showed up, and he's locked in the cell, and Crichton's just looking at him and going, "This is so infuriating because I look at you and I see home, but you're not home. And I don't know how to relate to you because you're not human." And like he's got like a tear going down when Ben Browder's such a better actor than the career he ended up with. He deserved to be bigger than he was or is. He's still around. I've tried that Angry Orchard cider. Angry Orchard's decent. I have a political question. You can ask it, Black Cover. I reserve the right to spike it if I don't feel like dealing with it. That's not a personal thing. That's just depends on what it is. I might not have the energy. Just on Marty Supreme. Holy crap, I hated Marty in that movie. Timothy Chalamet made the character so unlikable that I actually liked the film, as weird as it sounds. I know very little about that movie. It's one of those movies that's just like it just feels designed to appeal to a kind of critic and viewer that I'm not. And it's fine. It can exist. I'm not sure I ever want to see it because I feel like here's the energy I get off it. It looks at a glance like the kind of movie that I'm not really gonna like, and the people who do like it are going to be real mad at me for not liking it. Call that the In Bruges effect. Is K-pop Demon Hunters geeky enough to praise here? Hell yeah! Because the soundtrack's the only new music I've heard in ages that I've enjoyed. You by all means, Meg, praise the hell out of K-pop Demon Hunters. I started to say vampire. What did I? A lot of Trekkies are pedantic dorks. Fair. If you look up mediocre white man in the dictionary, should there be a picture of Lee Adama? Lately, with where we're at in the podcast on watching Battlestar Galactica, he's not really even measuring up to mediocre lately. Yikes. They did say at some point that Sebaceans are related to humans, or maybe it was in the comics. Like, again, I feel like there was a reference somewhere, but I also feel like they didn't make a thing out of it. I can do the top note in Golden, but only if I put on a Kate Bush voice. You're gonna make me want to watch Farscape all over again. Good, Ava. Watch Farscape all over again. Farscape's fantastic. Do it. It gives Oscar bait, but I don't hate it if it's genuinely enjoyable. Oh, Marty Supreme. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to use the term Oscar bait because here's why I don't like the term Oscar bait is that it implies a lot of very specific things about the intentions behind the creation of a movie that it feels like something that I often don't want to get into. But like, yeah, that is the energy of the kind of movie that I'm usually like, I don't think I'm gonna watch that because I will think it's only okay or think it's not that great, and I'm gonna get so much crap for it. How long do you think it'll take for us to reach a pre-Trump America again, reversing every policy in effect? Before I attempt to answer that, Black Cover, do you want to be depressed? Because if not, I won't answer that. If you remember in Use of Weapons, there was a bit where Zakawe says there's so many humanoids in the culture universe because someone has to drink all the alcohol. That's honestly the kind of explanation that I love. What I find weird, Trek sci-fi and some others, is when a race has all the same haircut and dress the same. I realize the production reasons, but in story, why? So the thing is, all web shooters, sometimes there's a reason. Like sometimes cultural uniformity is actually a theme or a plot point in something like that. And then there's other times it's just like, there was no reason to do that. Why are you doing that? Like, it can vary. Golden won a Grammy. Oh, see, I pay no attention to the Grammy. I don't pay attention to any of the award stuff anymore, but I never paid attention to the Grammys. That's cool, though. Good on them. Thanks to the kids. I know all the K-pop Demon Hunter songs by heart. Yeah. You know, my kiddo got into it, too. But I was into it before they were, so... I can't really stand Ben Browder. He just looks like a jerk. There's something about his face. I don't know what it is. But you're allowed to have just your general that doesn't click with me reaction to somebody, including looking at them. I disagree, but it's a matter of taste. So, you know. You said they wouldn't kill off Adamo because he's one of the legacy characters. I think it's also that he's seen as a hot male lead. Well, yeah, that too. I'm bracing myself. Okay. So, to your question, Black Cover, of how long would it take us to get back to America in a pre-Trump state? We can't. We can't. We can't have that world again. Now, to temper that, I am not saying things can't improve, can't be better, can't in theory be better than they were pre-Trump. What I am saying is the format of your question implies that that rolling back to an earlier point should be the goal, and I disagree. I think Trump's return to power and everything he's done has proven how broken the system is. We should have learned this after his first term, but it's inescapable now. But there are too many holes in the system. There are too many ways it can be abused. There are too many parts of our society, culture, government, and everything else that was held together on a handshake agreement and a pinky promise with either no rules against it or no real mechanism to enforce those rules if somebody chose to break them. And coming out of this, my honest opinion is if you want things to be better, the entire system has to be stripped down to the studs and rebuilt from scratch. Because it seems very clear to me that the Democrats do not have the political appetite for plugging the holes that are so glaringly obvious the entire ship is rapidly sinking. They had the chance, after he was defeated the first time, to shore things up, to plug the holes. But instead they went, oh, we're back in power. Everything's okay. The system works now. And no, it doesn't. The so-called opposition party will not safeguard the democracy that we were meant to have. And the democracy, and I'm not saying democracy doesn't work. I am saying the democracy of the United States, as it was structured, has been proven too breakable. And I don't believe that there is the, if it's even possible, I definitely don't believe there is the political will to shore up the system. I think we would be better off at this point, frankly, scrapping it for parts. Now, as a practical matter, politically, what does that look like? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a legislator. I am not the person you turn to ask, okay, you want to tear down the system, what do you build in its place? I'm not that person. I have my general ideas, broadly speaking, but I'm not a policy hound. So I'm not the person to ask for that. But in terms of the damage done to the system, if you've ever been in or looked at or been involved in evaluating a house that was in a severe state of disrepair, there is a line that prior to that line, you can renovate the house. But after a certain point, you're better off stripping the entire thing down to the foundations and starting over. And I feel like we're at that point. What's something light and cheery that we can go off to? My doggo loves hearing Vera speak. She's getting all wound up. Oh, give Coco scritches from me, Meg. I'd appreciate that. How did I only find out yesterday that the choreography for the ballroom scene in Labyrinth was done by Gates McFadden? I think I did know that. I forget when I found that out, but I feel like I knew that. I'm so excited for the Gata arc on podcast. I'll be interested to see what they actually do with him, because I like Gata as a character, but he is one of those guys who's just kind of been around most of the time. Like, he was well used in Collaborators, which at this point I still think is the best episode the show's done that I've seen. Yeah, Starbush. I see the Dark Knight quote. There's no going back. You've changed things forever. I see you. Let's see. People might want to check out Phil Foglio's Buck Godot comic series, where aliens and humans have lots of weird and interesting variations. The main character is a heavy worlder human. I like Phil Folio's stuff. I always have to remind myself, don't pronounce the G, because his is a name that I saw written for decades before I heard it said aloud. So I still have to remind myself how to actually say that. Will the people want to strip it down if you're among the people who benefit from it? Of course not. That's why things won't change. Because the people who have the best ability to reshape the system are also the ones who benefit the system. That's how we have stagnated to the point that we have, that a wrecking ball showed up and nobody does anything. The joke in The Simpsons where Homer tries to get through a job interview by just being charming, but the employer eventually says, "But do you know anything about nuclear power?" That's how I hope Gavin Newsom's presidential bid ends. Yeah, but do you stand for literally anything? Okay. I do not have the energy to talk about Gavin Newsom. That one I'm punting. We're moving on from that. Good grief. Ugh. All right. I got to check the questions over in the Discord. Reminder that the one thing that'll guarantee that I will see your comment or question when I come back is to do it as a super chat. And I will be back in a couple minutes. And also, the Discord is a Patreon exclusive perk. We don't have as many questions, though there are some long ones. So I'll try and get through these. What are your thoughts on the animated Star Wars TV shows Clone Wars and Bad Batch? I don't have any. I have never seen Clone Wars. I did, I think, the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch, realized it wasn't for me and stopped. Not that I think it's bad, it's just not for me. What do you think of the DC tales where Superman is evil, for example, Injustice and Superman Red Sun? Now, I haven't read Superman Red Sun. From what I understand of it, that one actually doesn't equate to Superman as evil. At least, again, I haven't read it. My understanding is that that's not really a fair classification, but Injustice absolutely is, so we'll stick with that. Broadly speaking, I don't like those. I just don't find them interesting. To me, it speaks to a lack of imagination that you see this paragon of a character, and because you don't understand how to write paragons, you can't think of anything interesting to do with him other than turn him evil. Like, I'm not interested in those stories, by and large. In the current culture, do you think it's possible for people with platforms to publicly criticize a trans person without inadvertently increasing the amount of transphobic abuse they get? The other day, I watched this YouTube video where one book talk channel was calling out another for being dismissive of romantasy genre. The other channel was a trans woman, and I had the thought that even though the content creator themselves were trying to be respectful, it's still highly likely she's going to get an uptick in abuse because the call-out video exists. So, short answer, no, it's probably not possible to draw attention to, and not just trans people, like to any other content creator and be critical of them without in some way slightly increasing the amount of abuse they get over their marginalized status. I think that happens to trans people. I think that happens to people of color. I think that happens to people with visible disabilities. I think that happens to fat people. And the thing is, that's not a reason to not criticize somebody, because by and large, that didn't, to say that happened, that uptick happened because you criticized them is not wrong, but it's also not right either. Like, it's not wrong in the strictest technical, you brought this person to some people's attention and they went and were assholes at this person, but those people probably would have been assholes at that person the instant they found out that they existed, regardless of what your criticisms are. As long as you formulate your criticisms respectfully and make them about what somebody said or the work that they did rather than who they are as a human being. If there are people who see what you said and go, cool, I'm going to go call this person a slur. Did you cause that? Only so far in the sense of you made them aware that this person exists, but you are not responsible for the actions of people who behave that far out of the realm of what you are trying to do. In the podcast about the Battlestar Galactica episode where Baltar returns to Galactica, why do you think you and Jesse didn't really end up talking much about the ethics and effectiveness of torture? Was it just that you already discussed it with the Leoben episode in season 1? You just be kind of repeating stuff. I think both of us were just focused on the character work in that particular instance, and I don't think it was a conscious decision of either of us to not bring that up. If I were to guess subconsciously, yeah, that was probably a factor because we had already praised the show for that. If this was the first time it had happened on the show, we probably would have highlighted it because it would have been like a real standout. But at this point, the show is established. That's its overall stance. So I think we both kind of took it as a given, though again, not consciously. If Battlestar Galactica were being made closer to now, would you expect Starbuck to turn out to be queer? I mean, given how masculine coded they make her a bunch of the time. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I wouldn't care either way. Because I don't like Starbucks Love Life, and I don't care who it's with. With your thoughts about themes mattering more than plot, would you be more okay with David Tennant returning to... Oh my God! Sorry, let me read the whole question. Would you be more okay with David Tennant returning to Doctor Who if there is a thematic justification for it, such as if the speculation that Billie Piper will be playing Rose and that the Christmas special will act as a sequel to Doomsday turn out to be correct? No! No. And I'm not going to go further than that. The answer is no. A lot of criticisms directed at the latest season of Stranger Things has revolved around the Duffer Bra. Oh my God. Has revolved around the Duffer Brothers not planning around Vecna's role in the story from the start. However, Vince Gilligan has famously gone on record saying he's been making up the plot for Breaking Bad as he was going along. He has said, if anything, writing himself into corners has been what forced him to come up with some of his most creative ideas. Why do you think that approach worked with Vince and not the Duffer Brothers? And do you think it's generally a good idea for writers to plan multiple seasons in advance? It depends on the writer. And I think there's a very crucial difference between how Vince approached it and how the Duffers approached it. Vince approached writing himself into a corner as a challenge to try and get out. The Duffers introduced a character and then retconned it to pretend that he was always there when he clearly wasn't. It's not the same thing. Just because you didn't plan things from the beginning doesn't mean that like it needs to be super obvious that you didn't plan things from the beginning. It is possible to wing it so well that it looks like you knew what you were doing the whole time. Not all writers can do that. And that's why there isn't a blanket answer to your question of, do I think it's better for writers to plan on multiple seasons in advance? It depends on the writers. It depends on the writers and it depends on the nature of the show. Some writers can do it, some can't. I think if you're asking me how I would show run something, I would go in with the skeleton of a plan and an overall shape and very few specifics worked out in advance beyond a first season. That's how I would approach a thing. But, until somebody hires me, that's moot. Which do you think is the most unnecessary lore reveal? The reveal that Vecna created the Upside Down in Stranger Things 4, or the reveal that David engineered the Xenomorphs in Alien Covenant? David. The David one's worse, because one of the few things I will give slight credit to is that the reveal in season 5 that the Upside Down isn't really a place, it's a place between places. I actually like that, and the idea that somebody had to make it, I'm more okay with. And like the 5th season did reestablish the Mind Flayer a little, enough that it did not undo my criticisms of season 4, but it made me go, whatever, dude. Whereas the David thing was just stupid. That was just stupid. All right. So I am back in the main chat now. Ooh, we have super chats. Let's see. Kira Universal, thank you very much for the super chat. Thoughts about disability issues in conventions. I'm glad that they're getting talked about more. Having conventions be accessible, and more importantly, because like this one's become a repeated issue lately, understanding that people's mobility aids aren't props, and you don't regulate somebody's foldable cane as if it was a prop and lock it with a fucking zip tie. Like, yeah, there's some stuff that really needs to be dealt with, but conventions should be accessible. It's something that is getting better in some places, and other places need to get a lot better. I am happy to say that Gallifrey 1 is decently accessible, at least from my experience being there as a non-disabled person, but having friends who are who have some degree of mobility disability who have attended that con. So, it is possible to make it work. Jennifer De Benedetto, thank you. That is very generous of you, and I appreciate it immensely. Have fun at the con. I am going to try my darndest. You know what I might do? I was going to say I should leave my phone in the hotel room, except no, because I'm going to want to take pictures of stuff. What I should do is I should turn the Wi-Fi and the data off on my phone when I'm on the con floor. I should do that. Because, yeah, I'm looking forward to being unplugged. Should they have had the 14th Doctor retire somewhere other than contemporary Earth to avoid all that nonsense? In my opinion, no. If it would have shut other people up, then yeah, sure, fine. It's my birthday today. I just wanted to pop by and say thank you for your videos. That brought me a lot of joy over the years. Oh, thank you, Wrong Browsers. Oh, I love that name. That's great. It's the Wrong Browsers, Gromit. Love it. What's your opinion on this year's Oscar noms? I don't remember what got nominated other than Sinners. I don't pay attention to the Oscars anymore. And Sinners was the only one I saw that got a lot of nominations, so. Do you think the He-Man movie is going to borrow extensively from the MCU's Thor? That's the vibe I'm getting from it. I mean, no. I think it's going to borrow lightly from it. Extensively, no. I doubt it. I mean, it might. I would have thought cons would be better disabled access, since there's a lot of larger subsection of people who are a lot more TV do things like their physical handicaps. Well, like it again, it varies from venue to venue and from con to con. Web shooter, it depends on how accessible the venue is inherently. Like Gallifrey 1 is held in a hotel. It's held at the Marriott at LAX. And because there's already a bunch of laws in place to ensure that the hotel is accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act, they've already got a leg up. But then you'll get other places and certain convention buildings or convention spaces that just aren't as accommodating, just in terms of how they're designed and how many accessibility things like ramps or elevators or escalators there actually are. So like it's going to vary a lot. You need a space that has some accessibility built in, but also you need organizers of the event who care. And that one seems to be more the hang up lately with some of the stuff that I've heard that has gone on. My birthday is next Thursday. I'm planning to see the new Joe Keery and Liam Neeson film Cold Storage on my birthday. I can't wait. Have fun with that one. I remember seeing the trailer for that. It looks like it might be fun. You know, like a solid 7 out of 10 kind of movie. And I don't say that as a ding. Like, we could use more solid 7 out of 10s. They used to be the backbone of the movie-going experience. I forget, what neurodiversity do you have? I have ADHD. That's what I'm diagnosed with having. Is that the only thing I've got going on? Honestly, probably not, but it's the only thing I have a diagnosis for. So, Yeah, the Grammys had a great tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, Ozzy. My main prediction is we won't see Orko until the mid-credit scene. That's an interesting prediction. I could see that. Like, Orko is, I mean, he's debatable if he's iconic or not. Like, visually he's iconic, but also, like, Orko is kind of an annoying character and also an expensive one to recreate. So I could see them minimizing use of a character like that. I mean, like that's the main reason Orko was never considered for the 80s version. They had no inexpensive way to do him. That's why they created Gwildor. Coyote Azul, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Credit for putting up for a lot of things tonight while exhausted. Kudos. Thank you. I do my best. And Kira Universal back again. I appreciate you very much. Do you think in Empire of Death, Sutekh really convinced the TARDIS, or was he lying out of spite just to use her like every single villain does? I don't remember the plot point. I haven't rewatched that one, so I don't really remember the plot point. I don't know. I'm sorry, I feel bad. I feel bad because I can't remember. I'm autistic and I can understand you neurologically. I mean, like, again, look, I don't have an autism diagnosis. I have found people who do have autism diagnoses relatable in a fair few ways, and I've been told by friends who have autism diagnoses that I'm really good at communicating with them, and I seem to get them better than a lot of people. So, look, I'm not going to claim something I don't have a diagnosis for, but it would be the least surprising thing ever. That's all I'm saying. I hope Doctor Who and future Star Trek shows will dial down on the universe and crisis plot lines. I'm kind of tired of super high stakes all the time in other media too. Well, yeah, like at a certain point, threatening the universe loses all its meaning. Like it's a classic joke from the 4th season of Buffy where stuff's going, and it's not even like that important an episode. It's like a mid-season episode, and Giles is like, "It's the end of the world," and everyone just turns to him and goes, "Again?" It, like, at a certain point, it really does feel like that. There was a way of doing him just a Jawa, but with a hat on. Oh, for Orko? I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'm like 89% sure I have autism after my kid got diagnosed. Not worth it at my age to get a diagnosis. I mean, like, that's even aside from the fact that we have a Health and Human Services secretary who literally suggested putting autism people on a fucking registry. Even if that wasn't the case, I am in a situation where it's like, does a diagnosis actually help me at this point? I feel like I've got enough of a handle on how my brain works that I function okay. And also, like, I do this for a living, so I don't have to worry about how I'm misinterpreted in an office or whatnot. You know what I mean? With regards to centers, how long has it been since something with fantasy and sci-fi elements got Oscar buzz? Remember it being a big deal when Lord of the Rings won for that reason. The Dune movies have had Oscar. They weren't big Oscar winners, but they did have buzz. So I'd say that was the last time. But yeah, those kinds of genre films usually don't get super recognition. Oh, hey, Anthony. Oh, sorry you're feeling sick. Hope you feel better soon. Reminder. Anybody else who is going to Gallifrey 1, I am going to encourage you strongly to mask on the con floor. I will be. I recommend other folks do too. It's not even just a COVID thing. Like, con crud is real. Wordmaker Workshop. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate you very much. Just checking in before bed. Hope you have an awesome time at the con. I love being on panels, hoping for some good ones. at Octocon in Ireland. Ooh, I'll have fun at that. I'd love to visit Ireland at some point. Like, I have no interest in going back to the UK. I don't think I'd feel safe there. Ireland, maybe. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh boy, that movie's so damn weird. My brain doesn't usually classify it as a sci-fi movie, but it is. It is technically. I'd be more happy about Golden, most probably winning original song if it wasn't at the expense of the best song from the best scene of Sinners. Like, again, I don't like. I personally don't care about the Oscars. Really. Like, after the winners get announced, I'll glance at them and I'll either go, oh, or oh. And then that's about as much of an opinion as I have on the damn things. Like, I stopped caring once I stopped participating in the Oscar pool that I used to be involved in. That was the only thing that had me paying attention for a while. But I just, and it's not like I made a conscious decision to stop doing the Oscar pool. I just, the people who run it have deadlines for when you have to have your picks in, and I'm always too busy to make that, and it just becomes a whole thing. It's uncommon a monster romance movie is up for Best Picture. Weird, it's happened twice. I gotta rewatch Shape of Water. That's a good one. If there's a show I wish we get a reboot of, it's Sequest DSV. I feel like that show didn't get as much love as it should have. I feel like it came out of nowhere. I feel like if it came out now, more people would appreciate it. Maybe. See, the thing was, Gabriel, like, I remember when it came out. I remember it got pushed hard, and it just didn't connect. That's not to say that it wouldn't be worth doing a reboot, because it might be one of those cases, like, you can argue from an artistic perspective, the best things to reboot are things that had a lot of potential but didn't fulfill that potential. A lot of unrealized potential. Oh, dang it. Sorry. Got lash glue. There we go. That's the one problem with doing the false lashes, is the glue like sticks around. I used to love the Oscar pool. I won the Oscar pool that I was in twice. And I had good showings pretty much every time. Pluto TV has been forcing me to watch Andromeda. Don't put that off on Pluto TV. Ant, no, you did. It presented you with the possibility. You did that to yourself. Own up to that. Remake of A Boy and His Dog when... Oh, Jesus. Oh, damn. Oh. I think if somebody tried to make that... Like, a remake is the only way you could justify making that. If someone tried to make that for the first time now, they'd get canceled so fucking fast. Use all that Disney money and do Treasure Planet? No, Trista. That implies that Treasure Planet didn't meet its potential. It absolutely did. Treasure Planet is perfect. Leave it alone. If they rebooted Sequest, would people say it's woke environmentalism? Probably. Johnny718, bravo. Thank you for the super chat. Your videos are awesome. Happy Tuesday. And to you, my friend. And the Baba Duchess. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Oscar season last year is how I found your channel when I went down an Amelia Perez rabbit hole. Yikes. Yours was the take that mirrored mine the most. Oh, wow. That freaking movie. God. Emotional damage. That one. Good grief. Oh. I'm playing Dispatch for the first time. I don't do well with time things, but I'm enjoying the mission minigames more than I thought I would. I would like to play Dispatch, but I can't afford it right now. I haven't gotten a new game in a bit. because I really have been on a spending lockdown as we head, well, first into the con and then it's tax season. So I'm trying very hard not to spend money right now. No, Mr. Pluto TV came to my house and told me I can't escape until I binged Andromeda. It's a unique situation. I should probably call the authorities. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Police reporter, it didn't happen. I started keeping up with the Oscars after Hellhole Amelia Perez came out. Then I had to keep up. Oh, God, that movie. Oh. Next up, we'll be playing Bug Fables. I've heard of that one. For what it's worth, Season 5 of Andromeda is pretty fun and reused, and the reused set forced a fun season in one place. All right. I mean, I've never seen any of Andromeda, so... I think Treasure Planet's kind of the opposite of a hard sci-fi story. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's fantasy sci-fi. I love it. I love it so much. As a Latina, I also found you because of Amelia Perez. Hi from Argentina. Oh, hello there. Hello there, Ella. Taxes, cries. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pleased that Frankenstein got quite a few nominations, hoping our golden-eyed Stitchy Boy wins supporting actor. We'll see how it does. I mean, I'm always rooting for Guillermo del Toro. Titan AE is great and a better treasure story option personally. See, Titan AE for me is the epitome of a lot of potential that it didn't meet. Titan AE is visually fantastic. The story is kind of garbage. Titan AE, I think, is due for a reevaluation. Like, look, I won't hate on anybody for liking that movie. Again, visually, it's great. The character designs are fantastic. The voice acting's really good. I just want to rewrite the script from scratch. Same with Atlantis, for that matter. Actually, really great visual design. A lot of fun characters. I want to rewrite. I want to rewrite the script from ground zero, because that's where the problems are. Cis French man makes a movie about a trans Mexican cartel boss. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong. I remember after Amelia Perez came out, there was a website that claimed that a prequel was in the works. It was fake, but honestly, knowing Netflix, it wouldn't shock me. What is a movie you used to love before but ended up hating later on in life? I'm not sure I have a movie like that, Mr. Zaki Boy. Like, there are movies that I liked or loved when I was young that I can admit are not good, but I usually still enjoy them. I am hard pressed to think of one that my opinion actually flipped fully. Like, again, because I'm able to detach the quality of a thing from my enjoyment of it, I can recognize that a lot of the stuff I liked when I was young is garbage, but still enjoy it. So I'm drawing a blank. I want Frankenstein to win something, but I gave up on my favorites ever winning. It's funny you say that, Ant, but like the times that I've been like, oh well, this will never win, have been the times that like it's caught me off guard. Like that was the year, like the year that Shape of Water won. I was like, oh, that's so great that it got nominated. It'll never win, and then it did. I was like, oh damn, okay. You think it's a shame the West has basically given up on 2D animation at the movie level? Yeah, I do. I think one that has aged badly in terms of sci-fi is Andromeda Strain. There's multiple versions of that. I haven't seen any of them. Batman and Robin. So bad. I love it so much. Oh, these are other people who like things they used to love and now hate or something like that, or whatever it was. Who would you cast for a live action She-Ra? I have no idea. I don't ask me to fan cast. I'm bad at it. I've always been bad at it. I do actually have to wrap it up because I'm tired. I'm tired. I've got last minute prep to do and making sure that everything's put away in the house while I'm away. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining me, folks. This was a nice way to unwind after a long day, and I appreciate you all very, very much. I want you to take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Be well. Be safe. Be kind. If you see me at Gallifrey 1, feel free to say hi. But just take care of yourselves. And remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council, and I am just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. The cavity!